Hey everybody, I'm Mike with MK Outdoor Journal, and this is The Right of the People, where we use the first to defend the second. So uncover your keyboard and fire up your fingers. It's time to join the conversation. Happy Sunday to you. It is... Why do I have it on this dog? Oh, because I put it on Maine. Doggone it. See? Happy Sunday to you. It is February 26, 2023, and we're having technical diddlies already. Just not so much technical difficulty as operator error. Yes, there we go. I want to be able to see the chat. Not, yeah, well, whenever it decides to come on anyhow. Of course, I have to do a little bit of clickety-clickety and authorize it and whatnot, and then it should come up. See? There you go. Now we got the chat going on. Welcome, everybody, to this wonderful edition of The Right of the People, where we use the first to defend the second and have been doing so since late 2017. Yep, Night Strike, same old budget, tech difficulties. Absolutely right. Well, there's a reason that's my opening screen, right? That's just how it's going to be. So who do we got out here in the chatteroo? G23 was in here first, then Tactical Flood. How you doing, Buck? Warsaw Patriot in the house. The aforementioned Night Strike 1. G-Webs is out there. Krabby Turtle. Now, Krabby Turtle's got a wrench, but I don't recognize the name. Is that a username change there, Krabby Turtle? Who else we got out there? Well, that's it so far. If you're out there and you haven't said anything, sound off in the chat so I can say hi. Let me know you're here. If you're watching this on the replay, sound off in the comments below. Let me know you were here. And if you're watching this on, if you're listening to this on podcast, which it's available on Podbean, Pandora, I want to say Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Stitcher. Oh, Krabby Turtle is MK Joe. Oh, okay. Cool. Well, how you doing? Anyhow, if you are watching it or doggone it, listening to it via podcast, feel free to send me an email, Mike at MK Outdoor Journal, and tell me what you think of anything that we talk about tonight. Or, you can hop in and say hello on the YouTubes. So that bearded guy, okay, that's that's someone that has a wrench, but I don't recognize the name. Who did you used to be? Ozzy's in here. Well, hello, Ozzy. I didn't see Ozzy. Oh, there's Ozzy. Barking at the moon. But hello, that bearded guy. G-Web says, if Night Strike 1 says Krabby Turtle is okay, then I guess he must be okay. Okay, I'll go with that. Warsaw says, looks like a lot of people are trans-identifying themselves. Well, it's 2023. You're going to have that. Oh, used to be Mad Sexy. Gotcha. Everybody's changing names around here. Hell, did I start that when I switched from Budget Goods and Gear Reviews to MK Outdoor Journal? And then, as those of you who follow the channel, yep, CG23. As those of you who follow the channel have read my poll know, I'm kicking around the idea of changing it yet again. I don't know, though. I'm not sure if the name is terrible or not. MK Outdoor Journal. I don't know. So I'm thinking maybe something like Everyman Outdoors or something like that. Something a little more catchy than my initials. So. YouTube tagged his name. Gotcha. Well, that makes sense. Because, it's YouTube. And we can't have someone call themselves sexy, right? Night Strike says, yes, it's totally your fault. Now I have to make a channel and name myself China Strike. Hey, well, you know what? That's up to you, buddy. Return to budget. I can't do that because that's too negative to brands. They don't like it. And I do kind of want to work with different brands. So they want to avoid the negative connotations of the word budget. Matter of fact, you may have heard me say before that I had one brand tell me that our stuff never has been and never will be budget. And I was like, ouch, dude. But he had a point. There is a negative connotation there. No, I still have my budget equipment because, I'm cheap. I bet if I changed my name to Mad Grinder, it'd be okay. Yeah, probably. Shannon Smith, welcome. Says, do you think that permitless carry will pass through the Senate of South? Well, I'm not sure. We'll see. So let's go ahead and get into the topics here. First, I want to talk about the status of the National Rifle Association. As you guys should know, unless you have been under a rock, the National Rifle Association, the NRA, has been under some fire in the past several years with lawsuits stemming from misappropriation of funds by Lil Wayne LaPierre. The extreme wasteful spending they do on things like $30,000 of suits for Wayne and his intern apartment. I was going to say intern love shack, but there's no proof of that. Allegedly intern love shack. Plus all that crap. So, they're facing some stuff, particularly with this lawsuit out of New York, because New York State, their attorney general, is suing the NRA because the NRA is incorporated in New York, which I guess at the time was an okay move, but man, they should have moved it a lot sooner. Anyhow, because they tried to move to Texas, and yeah, that wasn't happening. They're not allowed. So let's go ahead and dig into this one, because there's some theory that changes in NRA leadership and the possible disappearance and bankruptcy of the NRA can result in some trouble for Republican candidates who have traditionally relied on them for support. This is a piece from MLN.com by Jeff Knox. NRA ILA leadership changes and Republicans are in trouble. Jason Ouimet, head of the NRA's lobbying arm, the Institute for Legislative Action, has announced that he is resigning to, quote, pursue other opportunities, unquote. Ouimet has held the post for almost 4 years, since longtime head of the ILA, Chris Cox, was forced out. Cox was accused of participating in an attempted coup against NRA Executive Vice President and CEO Lil Wayne LaPierre, shortly after the current round of scandals and lawsuits began to swirl around the embattled NRA boss in early 2019. That all came to a head at the NRA national meeting NRA annual meeting in Indianapolis, which is where it is again this year. Hopefully I'll see some of you guys there. When Cox and Oliver North were thrown out because they dared to question Lil Wayne. Ouimet's resignation is not good news for the NRA and the Second Amendment movement, as it reinforces concerns about the organization's future. That lack of future for the NRA, which some of us have been warning about for years, should have Republican politicians and strategists deeply concerned as well. As the U.S. electorate becomes ever more divided, with various factions becoming more entrenched in their own ideological silos and echo chambers, Republicans face a major fight to retain sufficient power to slow Democrats' agenda, much less make any gains. They have, to a troubling degree, abandoned their core principles of free markets, limited government, and responsible spending, instead focusing almost all of their attention on social issues, greatly assisted by the Democrats' utter lunacy on many of those issues. Since giving its first ever endorsement to candidate Ronald Reagan in 1980, the National Rifle Association has been a key ally to the GOP. The NRA got so involved in party politics that it often favored provably anti-gun Republicans over increasingly rare pro-gun Democrats. Putting the party ahead of Second Amendment principles drew strong criticism from all quarters of the gun community, including from this space. But that once cozy alliance is falling apart. The reasons for growing distance between the NRA and the GOP are many and varied, but the most recent issues stem from NRA leaders, quote-unquote, giving then-President Trump some seriously bad advice on topics like bump stocks and red flag laws. Even though Trump was following NRA guidance, his actions and comments on those subjects alienated millions of gun voters across the country who then refused to support him or other Republicans in the 2020 elections, which gave us President Sniffy, folks. It's not just gun voters' disenchantment with Trump, though. Since early 2019, when a series of scandals involving top NRA officials broke into national headlines, the massive organization has been hemorrhaging money, members, and volunteer support, along with political influence. The troubles led to huge reductions in the association's political spending, along with growing mistrust for their message. Younger gun owners now perceive the NRA as a FUD organization, more focused on sporting purposes than on preservation of the Second Amendment as a natural right. Despite steady and significant declines in annual membership numbers and revenue, the NRA Board of Directors signed off on a 2023 budget that appears to be designed to drive the association straight into bankruptcy. The association has lost over 1 million members in the past couple of years, and revenue has declined by over 50%. I hadn't realized it was that much. Yet, the NRA's 2023 budget predicts significant increases in both membership and revenue without offering any rational reason for the expected reversal in the current trend. Wow. They've been shedding members like my cat sheds its hair since this stuff happened, and they're predicting an upswing? Yeah, I don't know about that. With the unrealistic expectations of increased revenue, the board authorized significant increases in the association's spending, which has been running at a deficit of millions of dollars for the past several years. The association's line of credit is maxed out, with service on that debt taking a huge chunk of revenue. It's expected that the NRA will cross the tipping point where they will no longer be able to meet basic obligations by May or June of this year, forcing them into bankruptcy. Well, maybe I'll be going to the NRA annual meeting, because maybe it'll be happening. Maybe it won't. Who knows? On the bright side, declaring bankruptcy will at least pause the proceedings in the New York AG's lawsuit against the association. But that's not a particularly bright side, as the New York AG will simply line up with other creditors trying to pick the last bit of meat off the association's dying carcass, all the while lobbying the court for permission to take over the association to reorganize it on behalf of the members. The NRA is incorporated in New York, and the AG has regulatory authority over it. If the NRA doesn't declare bankruptcy this spring or early summer, they're expected to be in court for the trial in the New York AG suit by July. And make no mistake, the NRA is going to lose that suit. In an astounding piece of legal maneuvering, NRA attorneys filed a motion last year demanding a jury trial in Manhattan before a jury of New York City gun control advocates. Legal experts are still scratching their heads on that one, but it's just the latest in a long line of unusual legal maneuvering from the firm representing the NRA, and drawing something between $40 and $60 million a year in the process. The effect on Republican politics is likely to be substantial. The NRA claimed some 5.5 million members in 2016 and spent over $30 million on the presidential election alone. Along with direct contributions and independent expenditures on campaigns, the NRA includes candidate information in their 4 magazines and sends out pre-election postcards to millions of past, present, and prospective members listing favored candidates from city council to president and urging people to get out and vote. Many political strategists estimate that these efforts have historically impacted elections by as much as 5 or 6 percentage points. That's enough to be the deciding factor in most elections, and it impacts candidates up and down the ticket, almost all of them Republicans. The NRA has been building lists of gun owners and Second Amendment supporters for 170 years. They've been doing so aggressively with sophisticated computer systems for over 40 years. Those lists are the single most valuable asset the NRA owns, and they are almost certainly going to be either locked up by the bankruptcy court or in possession of the New York Attorney General by November 2024. Even if, by some miracle, the NRA is still in control of the list by then, they won't have the money to do anything useful with them. Other groups like GOA, SAF, etc. can't begin to fill the void that is being created as the NRA collapses. While most of those groups have seen increases in revenue and membership over the last 4 years, the losses at NRA far exceed those gains, and no group has the potential to come anywhere close to being able to fill the gap that the NRA leaves. None of these groups has ever raised more than a few $1 million in a year, and their combined annual revenue is less than $50 million. Compare that to the NRA, which had revenue of almost $400 million just a few years ago. You can see that losing the NRA is going to be a devastating blow to the future of the rights cause and could easily cost Republicans legislative majorities in over a dozen states, not to mention the White House and Congress. Those who say the NRA has never done much for gun owner rights simply don't know their history and are willfully blind to the future reality. Roe v. Wade was overturned after almost 50 years. Don't imagine for a moment that the same thing can't and won't happen to Bruen, Heller, and McDonald if Democrats are able to gain solid majorities in both houses of Congress and the presidency for the majority of the next decade. The only people who have been actively fighting to reverse the downward spiral and save the NRA have been pushed out by the establishment and had their efforts go unfunded by the community. There are currently only 2 members of the 76-member board of directors who have dared to question LaPierre and his leadership team, Judge Phil Journey and Frank Tate. Their terms end this April, and the nominating committee passed over both. Neither will be on the board after the members' meeting in Indianapolis. I've been reporting on problems at the NRA for 2 decades and redoubled those efforts after LaPierre's financial shenanigans came to light in 2019. I've written articles, pled with directors, gone to members' meetings to be abused and vilified, and generally tried to raise the alarm. But a small cadre of quote-unquote leaders on the board have convinced their comrades that Wayne is the only one who can save the association, despite the overwhelming evidence that he is the cause of the problems. At this point, I no longer have any answers or suggestions. I'm tired and frustrated, and frankly, feeling a bit hopeless. I've seen the writing on the wall, and I've done my best to alert my fellow NRA members, but they've chosen to throw up their hands and walk away rather than engage in the fight and work for reform. So now, I think all I can do is report on the collapse, sadly shaking my head and saying, I told you so. And for those who don't know, Jeff Knox is the second-generation political activist and director of the Firearms Coalition. His father, Neil Knox, led many of the early gun rights battles for your right to keep and bear arms. Read Neil Knox, Gun Rights War. So, what do you guys think out there in the chat? If the NRA goes the way of the dodo, does that spell hard times coming for A, for the fight for the Second Amendment? And B, does it spell hard times coming for Republican candidates? Let me get on my phone here and go back through the chatteroo and see what y'all been talking about. Let's see. New York Outcast is nonstop BS. More people are supporting Second Amendment Foundation and GOA than the NRA these days. Yes, that's... Well, I don't know whether that's the truth or not. That bearded guy asked, what's NRAM? The NRA annual meeting. Yep. Yeah. Let's see, what else? Their budget fell because they've been cowering down. More people are supporting, yeah. NRA has been corrupt, mismanaged, and not listening to their clients and people. That's true. They don't listen to the members at all. Night Strike says, really? I don't know my history? How about 1986? How about my bump stock? Screw the NRA. G-Web says, you're wrong, Night Strike. Show me some facts, not an article complaining. New York Outcast says, no one should have a monopoly on the training or insurance industry. They don't. They do not have a monopoly on the training or insurance industry. As a matter of fact, you know, we got organizations like USCCA who does both. So, plus there's things like X Insurance or, you know, which is actual insurance, or like US Law Shield, stuff like that. None of the other organizations can raise the money to do what the NRA actually does. If you think that the GOA, FPC, and SAF can raise the funds that the NRA does, you're fooling yourself. This coming from Rich White. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Nobody currently has the fundraising power that the NRA did have. The problem is what they did with those funds. You know, where they chose to spend them on frivolous garbage for Wayne LaPierre and all this other crap that they wasted it on. When it could have been going to fund lawsuits and more politicians. Rich White continues to say they have a fraction of the membership that the NRA has, which is true. I'm not saying this coming from that bearded guy. Says, I'm not saying burn the NRA, but take it down to the foundation and rebuild the NRA. Again, the solution is to fire Wayne LaPierre and the other members of the board who are complicit in his garbage and completely replace the top leadership of the NRA. G-Web says the NRA, 200 million plus. GOA, 10 million. SAF, 12 million. FPC, 1 million. Is that members? Can't be members. That's money. Warsaw Patriot says the NRA is corrupt, though. Their leader is like Jimmy Hoffa. Quote, it's my NRA, a.k.a. Wayne. G-Web says the membership of the NRA is old, long-time gun owners. The other orgs have younger, new gun owners. Now, here's a thing that is true. New York Outcast says some do as in certified instructors, but lots of places only accept stuff from the NRA. Now, that is very true. That's very true. There are a lot of places that only accept credentials from an NRA certified instructor, which is one reason I've kept my membership in the NRA, because I am an NRA certified instructor. There are a lot of places that only accept that for, say, concealed carry permits and whatnot. So it's pretty touchy. You know, that's you know, what's going to happen with all that if the NRA goes away? You know, because one thing that the NRA does well is the training programs and the range programs and things like that. They haven't done so well on Second Amendment advocacy that, in my opinion, I could be wrong. I think they, with the powerhouse fundraising that they have, I think they could do more, and they haven't. So I don't want to see them go away. I would like to see them fixed, because I've said it before when all this stuff started happening, that if the NRA goes, it's bad news for all of us. Period. And that's bad stuff. So next up is this wonderful garbage being that they're trying to ram through Congress right now. So let's go to this piece from bearingarms.com by Tom Knighton from February 22nd. Federal bill for ammo control would ban online sales. Without ammo, guns are pretty useless. They're inefficient and improvised clubs, and that's giving them more credit than they might deserve in that capacity. Nope, guns need ammunition in order to fulfill their function, which is why many gun control advocates have been pushing for ammo control. In their minds, if bad guys can't get ammo, they won't get guns. They won't want guns. Or perhaps more accurately, if you can't get it, you won't want guns. If you can't get it, you won't want guns. But ammo control isn't common in the United States. However, a bill seeks to change just that. Literally named the Stop Online Ammunition Sales Act of 2023, the measure was filed last month in Congress by U.S. Representative Bonnie Watson Coleman, a New Jersey Democrat. Coleman was endorsed for office last fall by national anti-gun groups, including billionaire Michael Bloomberg's Everytown organization. The Stop Online Ammunition Sales Act is one step in the right direction to slowing the proliferation of guns and ammunition, said Watson Coleman in a statement. The proposal would establish the licensing of ammunition dealers, who then would be required to confirm the identity of customers seeking to purchase ammo by verifying a valid photo ID in person. As such, it would place a prohibition on the current widespread practice of buying ammo online and having it shipped directly to the customer's door. These licensed vendors would also have to report any sale of rounds totaling 1,000 rounds or more. Let me say that again, folks. These licensed vendors would also have to report any sale of rounds totaling 1,000 rounds or more. To some of us, that's nothing. That's Tuesday. Buying that much ammunition is common. Why would you think? Why do you suppose? Why would they want to have that information, folks? I'm just curious. What they don't get is why people buy that much ammunition. Oh, wait, no, let me get back up here. The kind of purchase that meets the requirements for many training classes. This is how you know gun people aren't behind this. They know that many training courses require you to show up with 1,000 rounds at a minimum because you're going to shoot an awful lot of it. Instead of understanding that, though, we have people who would look at this and think that no one needs that much ammunition, so why not? What they don't get is why people buy that much ammunition. Yes, many stockpile it for bad times, which I'd argue is pretty damn wise. However, you can build a stockpile in smaller quantities too, so this isn't going to stop that. What this does, though, is make it more difficult for people who actually try to be proficient with their firearms. It basically inhibits getting ammo for training courses, but also deters people from shooting a lot in general. Many may attend a class here or there, but then do most of their work at the range itself. Me. It's not hard to go through hundreds of rounds during a single range session. Me. By banning online sales and then trying to deter people from buying decent quantities of ammo, this bill would accomplish nothing if it were passed. After all, most mass shooters don't have that much ammo. They don't need that much. No, this targets us. This is about hurting law-abiding gun owners under the guise of combating crime. We won't vote their way, so this jackwagon wants to make us hurt. If there's an upside, it's that this bill has absolutely no chance of actually becoming law. While the bill, H.R. 584, has 23 co-sponsors, that's really paltry for a gun control bill in this House. Nope, this will be relegated to committee where it will die. What's more, most Democrats will be glad to see it do so. While I'm not convinced that there are many pro-gun Democrats in the House anymore, if any, the rest have got to see that this is only going to hurt their long-term efforts. So yeah, this is going down in flames. It's only too bad there are no penalties to the lawmakers favoring this for being this stupid. So yeah, folks, this online ammo ban bill, which would require dealers to report sales of 1,000 rounds or more, probably isn't going to go anywhere. I would be extremely surprised if it did go anywhere. But it just goes to show, folks, that they are never, ever, 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 ever going to stop trying. Some discussion out there on what happened back in 1986, which was the Firearms Owners Protection Act, which had the Hughes Amendment tacked onto it, that the NRA did tell Ronnie, yeah, go ahead and sign that. We'll just fight it in court and get it, get rid of it. That way you ain't got to deal with it. And it never happened. At least that's what I'm told. Though the FOPA did do some good, as Rich White points out, since there's no AWB in 1986. What the NRA supported was FOPA, which protected your rights to own firearms and travel with them. That's very true. Tactical Fed says, start casting and reloading. That bearded guy says, Mike, I would urge you to reconsider that thought. Everyone in California thought the same thing, and we got slammed with ammo laws and tax. That is true. So let me revise my statement. Thank you for pointing that out. Let me revise my statement. This shouldn't pass. It shouldn't have the votes. But we can never be complacent and assume that something like this won't pass. So as I say at the end of every show, we need to contact our Congress critters and elected representatives and let them know what we think about this. Make sure we tell them that if this ever gets out of committee, it needs a strong, firm, hell no vote. If enough of us clamor for it, for them to vote no, they'll vote no. If we don't, they might feel emboldened to go ahead and vote yes. So, good point. Thank you for bringing that up. And you're right. We have to be loud and vigilant about this. So let's see what's next up on our agenda. Oh, yeah. South Carolina's House passed constitutional carry. So South Carolinians could be on their way. This is from AMOLand.com from February 24th by NRA HQ. Yesterday, the House voted 87-26 to pass House Bill 3594, the constitutional carry bill. H. 3594 recognizes the right of law-abiding adults to carry a firearm for self-defense without having to first pay fees or obtain government permission, while also increasing penalties for criminals caught with firearms. H. 3594 now goes to the Senate for further consideration. NRA will keep you updated as it receives a committee assignment. H. 3594 does not change who is eligible to obtain a carry permit. It also does not affect previously issued permits and allows citizens who still wish to obtain a permit in order to carry in other states recognizing South Carolina's permits to do so. Then it goes on to list and thank the lawmakers for sponsoring and voting for this bill. So if you live in South Carolina, you need to be burning up the phone lines to your state senators to get them to pass this as well so that you can join the other half of the country who have constitutional carry, like Ohio. I mean, come on, y'all. You're a southern state, and a Yankee state beat you to it? Damn. Squibload says, what I missed? A proposal to ban online ammunition sales at the federal level? Won't happen. Next. Yeah, probably won't happen, but you still need to contact your critters and let them know about it. We also talked about the NRA, which I know your feelings on that, Squibby. And hi, glad to see you out there, buddy. New York Outcast says, the blue isn't bad. The red looked better on the brick. Oh, did it? Here's the beauty of the lighting setup. Because I can fix it right quick. How's that, Rob? And Gabriel says, what is that red, green, and blue blinking back there? That is a lamp in the shape of a Makarov pistol. Night Strike says, nah, Florida hasn't gotten constitutional carry yet either. No, but they're on their way. I think they'll eventually get it. There is some significant resistance from the usual suspects, the Democrat-backed law enforcement groups, like chiefs of police and stuff like that, because, unlike sheriffs, chiefs of police are appointed, and a lot of them are appointed by Democrats who, by and large, don't like our Second Amendment rights. Squibload says, I love the NRA. New York Outcast says, yep, the contrast is good. You know what? I think you're right. Especially since I have a blue filtered key light shining down on me to kind of give me a little bit of separation from the background. I think having the red in the background looks better. So, yep. I agree. Thank you for making the suggestion. So I changed it. All right. What do we need to talk about next? Because there's more. Oh, wait. I know what to talk about. We can talk about West Virginia, because West Virginia passed and sent to its governor a campus carry bill. By now, may have signed it. I don't know, but as of this piece in Breitbart from February 21st, West Virginia legislature passes campus carry, sends to governor's desk. The West Virginia House of Delegates passed campus carry legislation by a margin of 84-13, sending the legislation to Governor Jim Justice's Republican desk to be signed. WV News noted the campus carry legislation passed in the West Virginia Senate on January 24, 2023, by a margin of 29-4. The legislation will allow concealed carry permit holders to carry their handguns concealed on state college and university campuses. There are currently 11 campus carry states in the Union: Arkansas, Colorado, Georgia, Idaho, Kansas, Mississippi, Oregon, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, and Wisconsin. Maybe if somewhere like, say, Michigan had campus carry, this thing that happened the other week wouldn't have been as bad. I can't. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a fortune teller. I can't see into the future. I can't know for sure what would have happened had someone in Michigan at MSU been able to return fire. But like, I believe it was Susanna Hupp said about the Luby's cafeteria shooting, when asked, well, if you'd have had your gun, do you think things would have been different? She said, I don't know, but it sure would have helped even the odds, or would have changed the odds, or something to that effect. And I think she was absolutely right. I think if someone at MSU had been able to return fire, it would have changed the odds. Or someone at Virginia Tech, or someone at Sandy Hook, or someone at Parkland, or someone at Pulse Nightclub, or someone anywhere where these things have happened. It changes the odds. Just ask Elijah Dickin, the Indiana mall shooting. Or just ask the fella down in El Paso who stopped that. So, yeah. Let me see. Night Strike says, the problem with South Carolina is constitutional carry always passes the South Carolina House, but always gets shot down in the Senate. It was a miracle we got open carry with permit. G-Web says, it looks like you're being pulled over now. No, I have a light that can make it look like that, actually, if I really wanted to. Matter of fact, I think both of these lights could do that if I wished. I'll mess with them later. But I do have a light that'll do that red and blue strobe thing. M. Gabriel says, yeah, I did think it looked like a pistol. It is. Ozzy says, hell will freeze over before Illinois becomes free. Unfortunately, I think you're right. Rich says, it's already legal to carry on college campuses here in West Virginia. What the bill does is stop public universities punishing students and faculty who carry. Well, that's good. Squib says, it's not about returning fire. It's about the deterrent. And that's true. If bad guys know that this is not, in fact, a quote-unquote gun-free zone, except for theirs. Because, bad guys don't follow the law. That's why we call them bad guys. Yeah. It loses any deterrent effect. Is there anything else we just had? Nope, there was nothing else we had to talk about. So, I just want to add that being so insistent on keeping your people helpless sheep, on not protecting students or allowing them to protect themselves if they're adults, is just downright stupid. Speaking of downright stupid.
And now prepare yourself for another tale of stupidity in this episode of Moron of the Week.
First up in Moron of the Week is this piece from the Philadelphia Inquirer from February 26, 2023. Philly Mayor Jim Kenney. It's harder to buy booze in Pennsylvania than it is to buy a gun. In the aftermath of the fatal shooting of a Temple University police officer, an emotional Mayor Jim Kenney called Pennsylvania a gun-crazy state. Philadelphia Mayor Jim Kenney said that as he sought to buy Prosecco from a suburban Wegmans this weekend, he watched an elderly man jump through hoops to buy 8 bottles of wine. Restrictions, the mayor said, the state legislature has been unwilling to place on the sale of firearms. If we control guns like we control the sale of liquor and wine, we'd be in much better shape than we are now. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The anecdote described by Kenny was among the most colorful ways the Democratic mayor has found to slam the state legislature and the federal government for what he has repeatedly said is a failure to limit access to guns. It came at a Tuesday news conference during which Kenny grew emotional recounting the Saturday killing of Temple University police officer Christopher Fitzgerald, who officials say was fatally shot by an 18-year-old from Bucks County. Police have said they aren't sure how Jerky McJerkface, who is facing murder charges, obtained the weapon used to shoot Fitzgerald, nor have they recovered it. Hey, you know what? I'm not interested. Thank you. Stupid pop-ups. The mayor has frequently called to back legislation that would expand background checks, place limits on the number of guns individuals can purchase per month, and require the reporting of lost and stolen firearms. Democrats hold a narrow majority in the state house, while Republicans control the state Senate. So I got to ask you there, Mr. Mayor, what gun law would have stopped that 18-year-old criminal from killing that guy? Name one. Name one, aside from complete, total, and utter confiscation of all guns. Aside from that, name one. I'll support it. But I'm not going to hold my breath because I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to name one. So, putrid politician, you are the first contestant on Moron of the Week. But wait, there's more. There always is. This piece from The Truth About Guns by Dan Zimmerman from February 25th. Marshall University professor. Cops and vets earn their Second Amendment rights through months of training. The presidents of West Virginia University and Marshall University penned a joint letter to legislatures opposing the bill in late January. We believe that our boards of governors are best suited to decide whether guns should be permitted on campus, the letter reads. We therefore do not support statewide campus carry. Presidents of West Virginia State University, Concord University, and Shepherd University wrote a separate letter saying they strongly support the Second Amendment, but have serious reservations about the significant public safety challenges that the bill would present. Introducing firearms into this already challenging environment could have unintended consequences, like people being safe. The letter says, referencing increased suicide rates and concern that the presence of firearms could stifle the free exchange of ideas. Huh? West Virginia Public Broadcasting reported that at a public hearing last week, 40 people spoke and nearly everyone opposed the bill. Marshall University professor Chris White said that the bill doesn't have enough safety measures in place. Formerly a Marine Corps infantryman, he referenced months of training that military and police officers go through to earn the Second Amendment right and carry those weapons in public. Oi, oi, oi. Number one, first, last, and always, you don't earn a right. Because a right is not given to you. You have it automatically. That's why it's called a right and not a privilege. But, to these people, being able to defend yourself and having the capacity to resist tyranny is a privilege that they can grant and take away, not a right that pre-exists their government. Oy. Valaforni said, speaking as a vet, so sick of this stuff. Yeah, me too. Yeah, Danky, we don't urge things like that here. Thanks, Gary, for taking care of that. And Gabriel says the same thing I did. You do not have to earn a right. That's why they're rights. Anything else is a privilege. Great minds think alike, brother. So this putrid professor here is number 2 on the list of contestants of Moron of the Week, right after Punk Professor. But there's one more, folks. There is another. And that is this piece from Breitbart Rich Eisen blasts constitutional carry by citing shooting in state without constitutional carry. Yeah. Sports commentator Rich Eisen pushed gun control during his program on Thursday and blasted constitutional carry by citing a shooting that occurred in a state that does not have constitutional carry. Eisen referenced the February 13, 2023 Michigan State University shooting in which 3 people were killed. He then referenced former Alabama player Darius Miles, who is charged with capital murder in connection with the shooting death of a 23-year-old woman. Eisen then moved to shootings in general and asked, how do the shooters get the guns? How did the shooters get the guns? Why is it so easy to get a gun? He added, we should find out who gave it to them, how they got them, how they bought them, how it's so easy to get, and it's getting worse. Eisen then suggested Michigan State University basketball coach Tom Izzo is hesitant to talk about the topic because it is political and because Izzo grew up in a part of Michigan where hunting is extremely popular. Eisen said, great, no one is taking your hunting guns away. Nobody. Well, first off, yes, you're absolutely right, dude. No one is taking my hunting guns away, nor any of my guns. Second, yeah, they do want to take away any semi-automatic hunting gun that you have. So piss off. You're either wrong or lying. Why can't we find out who's responsible enough to get a gun and who's not? Why can't we have laws on the books? Should be noted that America has had background checks for retail gun purchases via the National Instant Criminal Background Check System since 1998. Moreover, nearly every high-profile mass shooter of the last 15 years bought his guns via a background check, and it gives a list of stuff going back to 2007 with the Virginia Tech attackers. Eisen then targeted constitutional carry, saying, there's permitless carry in so many states now. Florida, you know what happened yesterday. There was a shooting in Orlando. Somebody goes to cover it, and that person gets shot and killed along with a 9-year-old. 2 things. 1, Florida doesn't have permitless carry. The legislature is currently discussing it, but the state has not adopted it. So you have to have a permit to carry concealed in the Sunshine State. 2, the individual who allegedly killed a woman, then killed an Orlando reporter covering the homicide, was a known gang member with a lengthy criminal history, including aggravated battery, assault, and grand theft, according to WESH. Such individuals often ignore gun laws. Maybe the solution would have been to, the last time he committed some heinous crime, have that son of a bitch in jail for the rest of his freaking life. But I digress. Let's see. So there you go, folks. We have 3 contestants for Moron of the Week here. First up is this punk politician who, the Philadelphia mayor who thinks that basically you shouldn't have guns. This putrid professor who, I'm a vet, so, I'm qualified to have it, but you people aren't. You have to earn your rights. And then rank Rich Eisen, who is just an anti-gun fool. So tell me, folks, who do you believe should be the moron of the week? Gizzard Gary says, why the hell was he free? I know, right? Squib says, Izzo made his remarks and they skirted being anti-2A. Screw that guy. Gary says, sports commentators should stick to sports and leave politics out of it. Rich White says, my alma mater allows carry on campus. Hasn't been a single firearm-related incident there. What? That's crazy. That's crazy. You have to be wrong. You have to have incorrect information, Rich. If people are carrying on campus, there should be blood running in the gutters every day. I mean, it should be sloshing around your shoes when you go walking into class. You'd need hip waders to get through all of it. New York Outcast says, anyone that didn't eat a salad this week? I ate one this week. Squibload says, I'll vote for the guy who claims to be a Marine. Ozzy says, can we have 3 winners? Squib asks, what about mac and cheese? Is mac and cheese a salad? Yeah, is potato salad a salad? What about macaroni salad or ham salad or egg salad? Even though eating egg salad nowadays is just flexing. That's it. Today I'm trying to drink healthy, folks. Diet Ocean Spray cranberry juice with 1 gram of sugar per serving. Let's see. We've 14 votes in the can. We got Punk Politician with 36%, Putrid Professor, I'm a Vet, so with 53%, and Rank Rich Eisen with 13%. 15 votes, same totals. We got 20 people out there watching, so we need 4 more votes because one more person just weighed in and cast their vote for the Putrid Professor. Rich White says, I ate a salad, but it was on a toasted bun from Subway. I'll allow it. I will absolutely allow it because all the stuff you can get on there, it's just a salad on bread. Just has some meat on it. New York Outcast thinks that doesn't count. Well, it's my show, so I say yes, it counts. M. Gabriel says it looks like cough syrup. Dude, if I drank down this much cough syrup, I don't think there'd be a show. Be a little bit weird. Well, okay, more weird than it usually is, right? No, I used to love fruit juice. I used to love to drink it. And I haven't been able to because it's got too much sugar in it. But then today I found this stuff. I don't know. It's probably existed out there for a while, diet fruit juices and stuff, but I have never found it. But as soon as I saw it, snatch! I got it in the cran grape, which I'm going to work on next. The cranberry is pretty good. I used to like cranberry juice anyway, but now we'll see if this cran grape's any better. Gizzard says, pickled lettuce and tomato. Heck yeah, that's a salad right there. Oh, on burgers, yes. New York Outcast says, yes, anything with the word salad can technically count. Subs and burgers don't count. Well, what if I call it a salad sub? See? I mean, if it's a tuna salad sandwich, is that a salad then? If it's a ham salad sandwich or egg salad sandwich, is that a salad then? I say anything that has a preponderance of vegetation on it, regardless of whether or not it contains meat and cheese and is wrapped in a bun, is a salad. That's what I say. What do you guys think out there in the chat? Is it a salad? If you're listening to this on the replay, sound off in the comments below. And if you're in the podcast, email me, Mike at MK Outdoor Journal. Is it a salad? So far in the poll, we have 18 votes with the totals holding the percentages still at 33% for Punk Politician, 56% for Putrid Professor, and 11% for Rank Rich Eisen. So I'm going to go ahead and end this poll and the Putrid Professor with the I am a Marine, so I should be able to, I'm a vet, so my word counts more than yours. And you shouldn't have guns, but I should. That ignoramus is the moron of the week.
And there we had another tale of stupidity in this week's episode of Moron of the Week.
All right, folks, those of you who's been here before and who have stuck around to the end know what's coming next. But for those who haven't, it's time for Roll Call 219's favorite segment, Self-Defense Shoutouts. And I still got to just make an intro. I should just go ahead and record an intro for this and include the yay! Self-Defense Shoutouts are not where I'm reveling in the proposition that the bad guy won the room temperature challenge by taking a dirt nap. It's instead where I'm reveling in the proposition that the good guy had the means, method, and opportunity to keep the bad guy from making him do the same. First up is this piece from WCTI12.com. Attempted robbery goes awry as victim shoots would-be robber. 3 arrested from February 23rd. Greenville, Pitt County. 3 men were arrested and 1 was shot after an attempted armed robbery in Greenville Thursday, February 23rd, 2023. Police said it happened in the parking lot of the ABC store on East 10th Street. Police said a victim of the robbery shot one of the suspects during the robbery. Later, police matched a vehicle to a description near Golden Road, chased it, and tried to stop it. The pursuit ended on Haven Drive when the people in the car tried to run away from police. The person shot was taken to ECU Health and is expected to make a full recovery. The other 2 people in the car are at Greenville PD headquarters for questioning. At this point, there have been no other injuries reported. The investigation is ongoing. Next up is this piece from Fox 5 Atlanta. Union City neighbor shoots man he witnessed stabbing woman. Union City, Georgia. Union City police are praising a neighbor they say stopped a man who stabbed 3 women early Saturday morning. The man being hailed as a good Samaritan spoke exclusively with Fox 5 Atlanta after the incident. I just couldn't sit there and watch and hear what was going on, Josh Dobbs told Fox 5's Kim Leffler. Dobbs said he just jumped into action when he heard what he correctly assumed were a woman's screams coming from the Hidden Lake apartments. Police said it turned out that 2 women had already been attacked, and Dobbs would just happen to step outside when the suspect began to stab a 3rd victim. One of the victims called the Union City Police for help. Officers responded to that location where they observed a female lying outside in between cars who had also been stabbed, as well as 2 subjects behind the apartment, the incident location. One had been stabbed, and it appeared the other one had been shot, Prentice Brooks Union Police Department said. Police said the person who was shot was the suspect accused of stabbing the women. As the male subject was assaulting these female subjects with a knife, an onlooker saw the assault taking place, Captain Brooks said. He stepped up and stopped the threat. He did shoot the suspect. Police said one of the women died after the stabbing. We actually commend him for what he did in stepping up, the captain added. The suspect was taken to the hospital where he later died from his injuries. I have a daughter and I have a lot of respect for females and everything, so I was just doing the right thing and stepping up, Dobbs told Fox 5. Police are still investigating the incident, but for now, they say this seemed to be the result of a domestic dispute. Next up is MyStateline.com. Homeowner shoots suspect in Ogle County home invasion. This is from February 20th. Chana, Illinois, WTVO. A suspect in a home invasion was shot by a resident in Chana early Sunday morning, according to police. The Ogle County Sheriff's Office said deputies were called to a home in the 9,000 block of East Fowler Road around 1:11 a.m. When police arrived, they found the offender had been shot in the lower abdomen by someone living at the residence, authorities said. The man was taken to the Rochelle Airport and flown to St. Anthony's in Rockford via life flight helicopter. Police said the suspect is in critical but stable condition. The incident's under investigation, police said, adding that charges are possible. And last, but most certainly not least, is this piece from King5.com. Business owner shoots, kills suspected robber in Seattle's Ballard neighborhood. Co-owner of King Smoke Shop was also shot during the attempted robbery. He was taken to Harborview Medical Center where he is now in serious condition. A robbery suspect is dead and another person is left with serious injuries after a shooting in Seattle's Ballard neighborhood Monday afternoon, according to the Seattle Police Department. Police responded to King Smoke Shop at 7758 15th Avenue Northwest just after 4 p.m. to report a man shot outside of the business. When officers arrived, they discovered the co-owner of the business had also been shot. Seattle police said it appears a 30-year-old male suspect entered the business and attempted to rob the store. The suspect shot at the employee who returned fire. Police attempted life-saving measures on the suspect, but he died at the scene. Community members came to the aid of the business owner by making tourniquets out of belts while waiting for medics to arrive. The 38-year-old man was taken to Harborview Medical Center in serious condition. A Ballard resident and longtime customer of the shop arrived on scene shortly after the incident. The victim's brother, a co-owner of King Smoke Shop, embraced him upon seeing him. Victim's brother informed him that the victim is doing better, according to the man. So there we have someone defending themselves and others from some piece of filth that would assault them. That, folks, despite what the mainstream media would have you believe, happens every day. And it's also the way that it should turn out. We should have the right to defend ourselves. Well, let me rephrase that. We do have the right to defend ourselves. It shouldn't be infringed by our government. We should carry the means to defend ourselves with us everywhere we go. And we should do so without fear of legal consequence. And I really don't know how I can put it any more clearly or succinctly. So I'm going to leave you with this. First, I want to thank all of you for being here, particularly those of you who've been here since the beginning of this dumpster fire, since it started an hour ago. I greatly appreciate it. I'm humbled and amazed, as always, that you've chosen to spend this time here listening to me and having this conversation with each other. So I very much appreciate it. One thing I'll appreciate more, and so will your children and your grandchildren, is that you have to contact your Congress critters and elected representatives about these issues. Let them know that this ammo ban had better die in committee, and if it doesn't die in committee, it needs to get not only a no, but a hell no vote. You folks in South Carolina need to contact your senators, your state senators, and let them know that you want this constitutional carry to pass. You folks in Florida need to be on the horn with your Congress critters and elected representatives in that state to tell them you want constitutional carry, you want to join the rest of the country. Overall, all of us had to contact our Congress critters and elected representatives and let them know what we think. We need to send them a snail mail, email, telephone, telegraph, carrier pigeon, bicycle messengers, heliograph, semaphore, smoke signals, anything that we have to do to let them know what we think, and never, ever, ever give up this fight. I'll see you guys on the next one.